Hello, hello, it is Cecile Bizet, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about why I left the public education system. So, for those who didn't see in my most recent update video, I am now kind of switched to online/homeschooling, and today I'm just going to be talking about how I got here and my education up to this moment. And just kind of some of the problems that I saw in the public education system that I think really need to be reformed and talked about and brought up more frequently than they are now. So let's just get started. So a quick little background to my education. I started out from preschool to 4th grade in a Waldorf school, which is a kind of independent private school that really focuses on, I guess, nature and stuff. I don't really know. It was an interesting experience. I think that the specific school I went to wasn't really the best that I could have gotten, but I was very open about my disagreement with kind of the way I was being treated there. So I talked to my parents and we decided to send me to another private school called the Riley School, which is a tiny, tiny independent school in Rockport, Maine. It only has about 60 kids. So the Riley School's motto was an adventure in learning. And that's truly what it was. It was all about, individual learning and learning about what you were interested in and, really having responsibility and control over your education. And I think that, honestly, I think that's the best school I could have ever gone to. I think that's the best school that anyone could ever go to because it was so creatively stimulating and they were so supportive. Academics-wise, they let you pick your classes, what you were interested in, and also they didn't give tests, grades, or homework. Children and everyone learns from their mistakes, and I feel like the public education system punishes students for making mistakes, and it does not make any sense at all to me. And so their philosophy there was that, if you give a child time to play, time to make mistakes, time to grow, then they're going to grow as learners and become smarter. It just kind of makes sense. But for some reason, the way that our education system works, it's not as supportive of things like that. So when I graduated there in 8th grade, I went on to public high school. And it was insane. It was so crazy. The first couple weeks weren't that bad. Everything was really new to me. It was my first time in a public school, and it was my first time in high school. So I was experiencing things like having a locker, and having lunch at school, and having tests, and grades, and homework. I had never had those things. And I was really excited to see that, with the alternative education that I had, I was still one of the top in my class, and I was still doing as well as the students that had spent their middle school and elementary school years stressing about homework. I don't even know about grades. I was able to have a really peaceful childhood while still becoming really academically proficient, and I was right at the same level as everyone else, if not higher. Anyways, so after those first few weeks were over, after I had had my heart broken by some older boy that was really excited that there was a new girl in school, I started to kind of, get back into reality. And I think that happens a lot of times when you enter a new situation. It's all fun and new and exciting at first, and then it really sinks in and you're like, oh, this is where I'm at, okay. So that's what happened to me. Once it became around Christmas time, winter time of my freshman year, I actually experienced for the first time in my life symptoms of depression and anxiety, and I was just so stressed out and really wanted to get good grades, but I also, I have a very creative mind, and I have a mind that is very restless, I think. And so focusing only on academic pursuits was really confining to me. Why am I spending all my time doing something that I don't care about when there's so many amazing things I could be doing right now? And so I think that a lot of people experience that. if they're creative or if they're not really academically minded. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like I got good grades and I made it work, but academics started becoming less and less of a priority, although I was putting lots of time into them. So as I got around to sophomore year, again, going back to school, it's exciting and it's kind of fun again because you're making new friends. But then again, once the fall and winter time came around, I started to feel symptoms of depression and anxiety. This time I knew it was coming, right? And I knew that this was something that was going to happen. And so I wasn't quite surprised when it did. But this time, instead of trying to push through, I just kind of like stopped working. I did not want to focus at all. My interest was just gone, and I started passing things in late, and I was just so exhausted. And then I had the realization, why am I sitting here complaining about the education system when I'm not doing anything to change it? So I started writing a lot of essays about the education system and about what I thought they could change. I thought that they could maybe cut down on homework, because I was getting 3 to 5 hours of homework every night, which did not leave any time for basic human functioning needs like creative time, sleep, time with family. It was just so mind-boggling to me that there was no thought there from the perspective of the education system. And I don't really blame the teachers. I think there were definitely some teachers who were not as up to par as I would expect them to be, but there's a lot of standards and there's a lot of pressure to have your students get good test grades, and I don't think that it was entirely their fault. Although I did, sometimes get frustrated. Honestly, the teachers were some of my best friends. So, at that time, I did a lot of surveys of the whole school. I asked teachers what they felt about homework or how they felt that students were acting in the classroom. And a lot of them said that students seemed to be disinterested. And I think that is totally true. If you are a high school student or if you've been in high school, there's a lot of complaining. There's a lot of, oh, I don't care about this at all. Why am I here? It's not a foreign conversation to have. But that got me to thinking, why is it that way? If teachers are saying that students are disinterested and they're blaming that on the students, how does that work? It made no sense to me. What I saw was just this vicious cycle. I saw teachers who had been teaching for years, and they were met with students that were disinterested and weren't excited about what they were learning. And then from that point, they went on throughout the years to also become disinterested and to kind of get burnt out. And then they're teaching classes to students who are excited, and then they're already burnt out, so then they burn the students out. And then the students are already disinterested once they get to the next class. And it's just this vicious cycle. And it was astonishing to me that from the research I did, the teachers didn't really feel like it was their fault. And obviously, while it isn't entirely theirs, they do play a part in it. I expressed to them, some of the results I got from the students. Students were not getting time with family. They were not getting enough time to sleep. They were not getting time to be creative or to have any sort of fun just because of the immense amounts of homework they were given every night. And I asked them how they felt about that. And a lot of them were like, I don't think it's the homework's fault. I think they're just on social media all the time. And it's just so mind-boggling to me. Students spend, 6 to 8 hours at school every day, and then they're expected to go home and do 3 to 5 hours of homework. 10 hours of your day. And then you're expected to get 8 hours of sleep at least. So that's 18 hours of your day. Then what's left? 6 hours. Say you spend an hour getting ready in the morning and an hour getting ready for bed, then you have 4 hours. And say you have to eat meals, right? Say you eat dinner for an hour, that's 3 hours. Then say you want to read a book for pleasure, that's another hour gone or more. You want to spend a little bit of time with friends, that's at least another hour gone. There's literally not enough time in the day. I just couldn't get over how much it felt that the higher authorities didn't care that students were feeling this way. I also asked them, students are feeling symptoms of depression, symptoms of anxiety, and a lot of it stems from, you know, the place where they spend most of their day, school. And again, they didn't want to take any responsibility. They just said, you know, I think that that's their own problem. And it was just so sad to hear, because while I did complain about teachers sometimes, I always assumed that they were in it for the right reasons, that they were in it because they cared about a student's learning, that they cared about a student's well-being in general. And what I learned is that, obviously not all of them, but a lot of them really don't. And it was just so saddening and like appalling to me. So naturally, I didn't want to be part of it. And this is when it gets a little controversial, because a lot of people would say, just stick it through, you know, try to make a difference while you're there. But I was wasting so much time trying to do that I wasn't able to focus on my business ventures. I mean, I started a business. I started a gelato shop with my mom. I had a YouTube channel, and I had had it for the past, I think, 3 years at that point. And I was trying to make weekly videos that were at least somewhat high quality, you know? And it was just so unrealistic. I also had a job at that time as well. So I decided to kind of look for a way to make a clean break. And my father is actually very traditional, so he's not usually supportive of any of this stuff. It took a lot of convincing, and I don't know if he's actually quite there yet, but we finally kind of decided, at least for this semester, and I am manifesting that it will be for the next 2 years of my education, because I can't even imagine going back to public school, but at least for this semester, do online school. So what I've been doing is I've been taking 2 college classes online, and those count for both college and high school credit. And then I'm also getting homeschooling credit for things like filmmaking, or for communications, or for, you know, culinary stuff, because I made the gelato in the gelato shop. I make dinner every night. Also for business, because I started a business. So I've kind of transferred it over, and I've been able to get credit for things that I'm already doing, instead of them being an additive that was supposed to have a lower priority than my education. Now they are part of my education. And I can't tell you how freeing that is and how exciting it is, and being able to plan my day and kind of have it be tailored to my needs and what I want to create for myself has just been so amazing. Anyways, if you take anything away from this video at all, it would be that sometimes the situations that you feel as if you are stuck in, you are not actually stuck in. There's always a way out, and if you work hard enough, you'll be able to create the same caliber of experience. So for me, I created the same level of education, if not more, because I'm taking college classes now, outside of that situation, but you'll be able to have a life that you love and that you enjoy and that you feel fulfilled in. So, I hope that wasn't too rambly. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you want to stay updated with my videos, you can hit that little subscribe button down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment down below details about your education. Are you in public education? How do you feel about it? If you love it, tell me why. I want to know some reasons why. And even if you're not in, you know, school anymore, what are some places that you feel you can make a change in and you could update and renovate to fit your ideal lifestyle? So anyways, let me know, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! Mwah.